Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to OSP EXPO 2014. I'm Trish Henry, OSP's Director of Partnerships and Custom Events. Today, I am joined by Scot Bohaychyk from Clearfield. Scott, I'll let you give your own title, and I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So your role at Clearfield?
I'm Manager of Product Marketing, New Markets.
Wonderful, thank you. Congratulations on Clearfields being selected again as one of OSP Magazine's game-changing companies for 2014. In your opinion, how has the game changed from this year to last year?
The biggest thing we see now is the sheer number of broadband deployments or deployments in general has really outpaced the number of available trained technicians to do that. So what that's driving is the need for industry as a whole to create a more labor-light environment through innovation.
Okay, all right. And I assume that Clearfield is in the forefront of helping to solve that.
Yes,
problem.
we'd like to think so, yes.
Very good, very good. As a game changer, game-changing company, how does Clearfield's leadership role in the industry influence the decisions you make, that your boss Johnny Hill makes? How does that role influence those decisions?
I really don't think it influences how we make decisions internally. I think what it does is it tends to validate that when you create an environment of empowering your people to freely think, look at problems that maybe in a different light or things like that, and when you do that, it really just validates the fact that you're going to get a better response. You're going to get maybe some innovative designs that you didn't really think of, and you may even get to see some problems that really haven't been defined yet come to the forefront.
Okay, great. Innovation is critical, obviously. You just mentioned that. It's keeping a step ahead in the industry, especially telecom. Could you share your thoughts on what it means to be innovative, both for yourself and for Clearfield?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Hill had always put the thing, you can't feel speed, but you feel acceleration. So Clearfield as a company can't sit still or just keep pace with the industry as a whole.
Right.
You have to kind of be out in front of it, and sometimes that requires out of the box kind of an old term, but the thought process of thinking ahead and thinking of problems that maybe no one has thought about yet, or listening to your customers' feedback and kind of driving the design forward from that.
Okay, so it's really about listening to your customer, responding to what they want.
Absolutely.
Okay. How has Clearfield followed this approach in 2014?
What we do is internally, the drive is to get people to, again, freely think. And Johnny and Kel and Sherry Brannick both have created that environment that really no idea is a dumb idea, but we need to start looking at problems, listening to those customer feedbacks, and then trying to apply that in a method that product development moves forward. And again, driving that kind of labor-light approach where you don't need a lot of skill sets, you don't need a lot of tools to make the product work in the field.
Okay, all right. So it goes all the way up to the top with Sherry.
Absolutely.
All the way down. Wonderful. Tell me, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what has one of your company's biggest challenges been in 2014?
That probably goes back to the first question is because of the networks outpacing the technician level, the challenge has been to develop those product sets like the Field Shield product, the now pushable MPO. The pushable fiber started, basically single fiber, went to 2 fiber. Now we're doing a 12 fiber MPO.
Wow.
So the natural derivative in the industry is to drive forward bigger products, better products, and products that push us back further into the network. And we start creating this plug and play environment within the networks. It used to be just basically from lot line in. Now it's moving back further and further into the network, maybe back to the fiber distribution hub now.
Okay. So in terms of timing to go from 1 fiber to 2 fibers and then from 2 to 14, you said, how compressed has that interval become?
It's become very compressed. Actually, I think a year ago, we saw 1 fiber.
Okay.
And now, 1 year later, we're now at 12 fibers.
Okay.
And it's still, again, it's using the same technology, but expanding on that technology. And again, the nice part is what we're seeing is then you're seeing a shift of the network providers that they can take the skilled laborers that they've had, legacy employees that have been there a long time, lots of education, lots of knowledge, and they can move them over into the network where they need them more critically.
Okay.
They can bring on new folks that maybe don't have that skill set yet, but they can still deploy the network in a cost-effective way,
right,
while now at the same time they're bringing up the level of their technicians.
Okay, I can definitely see the value in that. One of the terms we hear about in OSP Magazine, we've heard here on the floor, is staying relevant. How does Clearfield plan to stay relevant? How do you plan to stay relevant over the next year?
Cost-effective,
okay,
scalable, labor light. Those are probably the three terms
okay,
I would use the most. Cost-effective has been around forever. We need to be cost-effective for the customers.
right,
Scalable, because when you're seeing networks deployed now, they might not be able to deploy the entire network at one time. They need to build it as they have revenue. And labor light goes back to the same thing. We need to have something that the new technicians can do, maybe do without tools or limited amount of tools, but still deploy in a quick method. Our newest thing today that we actually introduced here to show is the 288 PON cabinet below grade. It's a 288 PON, a 432 patch, below grade cabinet, very small, very, in my opinion, very innovative, along with our new cassette. We call it the SS, which is a small scale cassette. Same idea, same basic parameters that we've had in all of our products as its legacy products, but moving
sure,
forward in a smaller form factor and less moving parts and simpler just for the technician to install.
Okay, great. You personally, in your career, anything you do to stay relevant?
Well, things like this, trade
okay,
shows, and basically listening to the customers and a lot of the feedback, because I'm on the application side of the house.
Sure.
I get to go talk to the customer, so I get to listen to what maybe their pain is or what they're experiencing. And what we've seen is, in the overall deployment costing of a network, about 70% of that cost is labor.
Okay.
And what they're driving is, material costs are material costs, and you're really getting material down to the commodity level.
Sure.
So the real cost saving ability is out there is in the labor savings, and we're starting to see anywhere between 30 and 35% savings on the labor side of the house.
Right. Can't beat that.
Yep.
Tell me what aspects of the telecom industry drive you. What keeps you involved? You've been in the industry for a long time, so what keeps you going?
Me personally, and I think Clearfield as a company, that comes down to the innovation piece. The industry really can't afford to stay stagnant and just try to adapt existing products to different environments. Where you really need to see an innovation out there. Again, feedback from customers, and that's very, very key. And as Clearfield as a whole, that's kind of a passion and culture within the company. Again, the same two people from the very top drive that culture. And that culture is important to us, that it allows Clearfield employees, and allows people that we work with, our suppliers as well, to be a little more innovative, a little more nimble. Sometimes we don't get it right, but a lot of times we do get it right. And if you can empower your people to do that, and then listen to them, and drive that culture within the industry, you're going to see innovation. It really blossoms out of that.
Okay, that's fantastic. One final question. We are, believe it or not, putting together OSP Magazine January edition, which is 2015 predictions.
Yep.
So would love to have you share yours, have Clearfields, whatever you want to give us, we're ready for.
That part's pretty simple. Keep an eye on Clearfield.
Okay.
We're going to be an interesting company. We have about 30 plus new developments in the works today. And you never know, one of them might just be a game changer when it comes out. So.
Fantastic. Well, we'll expect to see you here next year.
There you go.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you
to Scot Bohaychyk from Clearfield. I'm Trish Henry with OSP Magazine, and thanks for joining us.